Up to now, the stories I've shared with you were born from ancient pacts, from whispered legends and fears hidden in the folds of folklore. These were secrets guarded by communities, by families, by traditions. But there's another kind of secret, a more modern, colder, and perhaps more relentless type, the corporate secret. Large industries, in their incessant search for resources, dig deeper than any explorer, map territories no government knows, and sometimes they find things that weren't on geological maps, anomalies that defy science and common sense. And when that happens, the protocol isn't superstition or prayer. It's a confidentiality agreement, a mass dismissal, a fabricated bankruptcy, silence bought with money and fear. There are two types of stories, those we hunt and those that hunt us. Lately, I've become a hunter, investigating the echoes and ghosts that haunt others. But the past has a way of exacting its price, and mine came in the form of a cardboard box. At the end of our last encounter, I mentioned a box that belonged to my paternal grandfather, a man I never knew. My father rarely spoke of him. He only said he was a brilliant historian, but a tormented man, obsessed with fantasies, as my father called them. He died on one of his expeditions in the 70s, somewhere remote in Wales. An accident, that was the official story. I never questioned it. Until now. The box contained all the material from his last and fatal expedition, and inside it, a diary, but not a written diary. An audio diary recorded on dozens of cassette tapes. The voice of a man I didn't know, but whose blood runs in my veins. Good evening, or good morning. I am the Enigma. Today's story is different. It's my most personal investigation. It's the story of my grandfather, Arthur, and his search for a cursed treasure that, perhaps, cost him his life. I'm going to share the contents of these tapes with you. We're going to listen together to his journey, his excitement turning into fear, and his research becoming a case of survival. And in the end, you'll understand why I can't let this story end with his last tape. This is the first part of the search for the treasure of a cruel conquistador, and for the truth about my own past. And before we press play on the first tape, if you also have family secrets that intrigue you, leave your like to join me in this quest. And if you want to be part of the complete expedition, subscribe to the Enigma channel and hit the bell, because this story doesn't end today. Your company will be my strength for what's to come. Let's listen. The box contained an old portable recorder and over 30 cassette tapes, each meticulously labeled with date and location. I put in the first one, play. Expedition Log, Arthur Davies. April 14th, 1978. Base in Brecon, Wales. Equipment is working. My partner, William, an experienced geologist, is finalizing supplies. Tomorrow, we set off. The objective: locate the lost mine of Rhys the Dark, not the famous one, the father, but a distant cousin, a dissident whose cruelty led him to be erased from many official records. Legends say he didn't find gold. He found soul gold. What does that mean? That's what we're going to find out. End of recording. My grandfather's voice. For the first time in my life, I heard it. It was strong, confident. The voice of an academic excited about fieldwork. The first tapes were like that. He described the landscape of the Welsh valleys, the difficulty of the trails, the thrill of following a 17th century map he had discovered in the National Library of Wales in Aberystwyth. He spoke of Rhys the Dark with admiration and a little fear, a conquistador who, unlike others, did not travel with large troops. He ventured into the wilderness alone, guided by a connection with the land. The legends my grandfather collected said that Rhys practiced rituals of ancient Welsh magic and paganism, that he made a pact with an entity of the earth, a spirit of the land, for it to show him where the gold was hidden. April 19th, 1978. We are now in the Snowdonia region. The beauty here is otherworldly, but there's something heavy in the air. William laughs at me, says it's the weight of history, but it's more than that. It's an observing silence. Legends say Reese didn't offer animal sacrifices to his guardian. He offered other men, his rivals, or even members of his own team who questioned him, and that the gold he found was not an inert metal, but something alive, stained by that energy. I listened for hours, fascinated. It was a dive into the mind of a brilliant and obsessive man. I was beginning to understand my grandfather and to fear for him. After the 10th tape, the tone changed. The academic confidence gave way to an apprehension that infiltrated his voice. May 3rd, 1978. It's been 3 weeks in the wilderness now. Something's wrong. I feel constantly watched. At night, outside the tent, I hear it. A sound, like a stone being dragged, far in the distance. William hears nothing. Says I'm getting paranoid with the legends. Maybe I am. But today we found a symbol. The same one from Reese's diary. A triple spiral carved into a rock. And the rock ... was warm, even in the shade. From then on, the recordings became a diary of his growing paranoia. He started recording at night, whispering, afraid that something would hear him. He described vivid dreams, where he walked through dark tunnels, and a guttural voice called his name. The relationship with his partner, William, also began to deteriorate. May 15th, 1978. I no longer trust William. He's acting strangely. He spends hours in silence, staring at the map. His eyes are different. And last night, I heard him talking to himself, in a language that wasn't English. It sounded like ancient Welsh, mixed with something more ... guttural. When I confronted him, he said he just had a cold. He's lying. Snowdonia. It's getting into his head, or maybe into mine. I felt his despair across the decades. Through the tape's hiss, the search for the treasure had become a fight for sanity. He was no longer documenting a legend. He was living within one. Snowdonia, with all its mystical energy, seemed to be testing them, breaking them. May 21st, 1978. We found it. The map led us to a hidden valley, not on any modern topographic chart. And in the center of the valley, ... the ruins. A town. A 17th century mining village. It must be Landfair, Reese secret base. The structures are overgrown with vegetation. It's a ghost town, swallowed by the wilderness. The energy here is unbearable. William is ecstatic. I'm scared, a fear I've never felt. The map didn't lead us to a treasure. It led us to a tomb. And I think the Guardian knows we're here. The last tape. The label simply read, May 23rd, 1978, Landfair, the church. The audio quality was terrible. It sounded like it had been recorded during a run or a struggle. I turned the volume up to maximum. He found it ... William found it, beneath the church altar. A passage, a secret chamber. I told him not to go in. I told him ... My grandfather's voice was filled with a dread I knew well. The dread of someone who knows they've crossed a point of no return. The chamber, it's not a tomb. It's a vault, and there's a chest, rosewood with carvings. The same symbols. William is obsessed. He won't listen to me. He wants to open it ... and then chaos. We did it. William, light here. It's bigger than I thought. My God ... single quotes. We shouldn't have. He's here ... single quotes. What is this? GOLD and bones? Is that ... hair? William, what are you doing? Drop that machete. William, the treasure is the bait. The gold stays. We stay. The landlord won't let you leave. I sat there, in the silence of my apartment, for over an hour, staring at the tape player, my grandfather's scream echoing in my head. The official story said, accident. But the tape told another story. A story of madness, greed, and perhaps a real curse. My grandfather didn't die in a fall. He was murdered by his partner, William. But what transformed William? Was it gold fever? Or was it the guardian, the entity my grandfather sensed from the beginning? What was in that chest that wasn't just gold? And the most important question, what happened to William? And to the treasure? The police at the time never found my grandfather's body, only his abandoned camp. Inside the cardboard box, there was one more thing, the map. The original 17th century map, drawn on animal hide, and over it, my grandfather's notes, his triangulation, his calculations, the path to Lanfair. I opened it on the table. The trail that led my grandfather to his death was there, in front of me. And I felt it. A calling, a pull. It wasn't greed. It was a need to close the story, to find the place where my grandfather took his last breath, to understand if the madness that consumed him was a family inheritance, a sensitivity to the inexplicable that perhaps I had inherited. I spent days in conflict. My logical mind screamed that it was suicide, that I should hand the tapes over to the police and leave the past buried. But my experiences, everything I had lived through, told me that the police wouldn't believe it. They would listen to the tapes and see only a crime of passion for gold. They wouldn't understand the part about the guardian, about the energy of the place. And I knew that if I didn't go, my grandfather's ghost would haunt me forever. Not literally, but as an unanswered question, a story without an ending. My story without a clear beginning. The decision was made. I'm packing my backpack, buying equipment, studying the maps. I'm going to retrace my grandfather's expedition. I'm going all the way. The Enigma picks up the old map and shows it to the camera. The light illuminates the drawings and notes. This is the way to Lanfair. I don't know what I'll find there. My grandfather's remains? A maddened William, who might still live as a hermit, guarding the treasure. Or something worse, the guardian that drove him mad. I'm scared, but it's a different kind of fear. It's a fear with purpose. And that's the question I leave for you today. Should I go? Am I honoring my grandfather's memory, or am I arrogantly repeating his fatal mistake? Are there treasures, truths, that should remain lost forever to protect us? Leave your opinions, your advice, in the comments. I'll read them all before I leave. And here's my promise to you. This is just the first part of the story. In the coming weeks, I'm going to travel to Wales. I'm going to follow this map. And I'm going to take you with me, with my cameras, with my recorder. The next story I tell won't be a new case. It will be part 2 of this journey. What I find in the heart of Lanfair. If I come back from there to tell it.